was the Cactus Cuties singing our national anthem, and the virtual Thunderbirds for the flyover. Want to thank them, as well as the drivers are getting ready to go racing at Darlington. 150 laps coming up at you on ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network for the RSR Asphalt Assault Series, presented by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs. Guys, let's go down our starting grid, and it begins with your point leader. Eric Brundy's in the number 94, going to start alongside the 15 of Rhett McBride.
Stefan Marinak's going to start in the third position at 24 car, second at points, 3 out of the lead, with the 43 of Justin Wilson subbing for Doug Roth on his outside, and fourth they make up row number 2.
When you look at row number 3, it's Matt Lacrosse starting in the number 21. To the outside, it's number 1, a Clint Monahan.
Row number 4 will consist of the 7 of Bobby Terrell, and the 8th position car, the car on his outside, will be the 44 of Glenn Campbell.
Brian Harvey going to start in position number 9 in 67. To the outside, 00 Mark Bratcher.
Rolling off 11th to the 26th machine will be Jose Gonzalez, and making up the 6th row with him will be the 10 car of John Abbott.
Eric Arnold will start in position number 13 in the 47. The 84 is Jimmy North. He's going to start 14th.
28 Doug Fleming rolls off 15th with the 33 machine of David Lanza on his outside in 16th.
Field begins to roll. It's the 85 of Nathan Bowers on the inside in position number 17. And Almindo on the outside. It's Stephen Almindo in the 81.
Terry Lane rolls off 19th in his 98 machine, with Scott Brotherton rolling off 20th in his 2 machine.
09 John Ellers into the outside. Keith Brooks Jr. 71.
11 CJ LeVere rolls off 23rd, with Wyatt Wolf Jr. in 63 rolling off 24th.
Josh Cheney 65 to the outside. Douglas Wyatt number 12.
Bud McGuire 2750 car, and the 92 on his outside, Jason Lester.
We got Joey Hilton in the 40 and Jay Randall Watkins number 27.
Wyatt Wolf in the 56 and John Wilco 62.
Augusto Gabaldoni, Randall Holcomb, and Frank Coons complete your 35-car field, getting ready to go green for the first of 150 laps. Eric Brundy's going to start on the inside. He has control of this one, the first racing Ford Mustang pace car. Into the infield, and Brundy's going to lead them down, and he is gone. Green flag flies, and the 15 did not go on the outside line. He is side-by-side with Marinak in the 24.
Yeah, here they go side-by-side, and turn number 1 looks like Marinak's going to clear the 15 of Rhett McBride. Oh! McBride falls back to the bumper of, I do believe, the 43 of Justin Wilson. That's going to put McBride around the inside. He saved the car, but he's down on the apron, losing a lot of spots now.
Yeah, he's well outside the top 10, and he's still letting those cars go by. He's got the 2 now on the outside of him, and that would be around 20th place right now as Brotherton picks up the spot on Rhett McBride. Big trouble early for the 15, but could have been a lot worse for that team. It's now Brundy's and Marinak, your top 2, Wilson, Lacrosse, and Monahan, top 5.
You see these guys, it's like I said, running up next to that wall. Very extremely weird line at Darlington Speedway, entering low, shoving up next to the wall in the middle of the corner, and then entering low, and then eventually shoving up next to the wall when they get on the straightaway here. And, just right next to the wall through 3 and 4, making up quite a bit of time. Here we have a battle for it does look like third position. 43 car Justin Wilson has a lot of company on the inside from Matt Lacrosse, 21.
Oh, 43 loosen up in the fence. The 21 makes his way past the 1 of Monahan. Also going to try to make the move on Wilson in the 43 as the 43 is up high. The 1 is down low. And you mentioned one thing, Dakota. You've driven these race cars here before on this Darlington Raceway. Want to ask the question. You talk about going in low and going up towards that wall out high. How do you complete a pass in the middle of the corner when you're down low, trying to keep that car down low and not wanting it to drift up high?
That's one of the most, impossible things about Darlington. Nobody likes to pass in the corners. You actually have to use the throttle to keep that thing next to the wall. You got to keep that car wound up, and that's why you can't use that inside lane, especially through 1 and 2. 1 and 2 big time. If you were to get inside the cockpit of one of these things, you'd know why. 3 and 4 is not as bad. You can use a little bit of the inside lane, but outside lane, it's the only way there's speed. It's the only way you can carry speed. Passing here is probably one of the hardest things you'll do as a driver at Darlington Speedway.
And getting back in a rhythm, very, very key as well, especially if you're a guy like Justin Wilson, who had that bobble, was up in the fence, lost that position, and nearly lost another one to Monahan, but he's put Monahan behind him right now and trying to catch Matt Lacrosse in the number 21 in front of him. This is the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. 21, 43, 1, and you can add a couple more to that battle as well, as here comes Glenn Campbell closing in. And the 7 is also in the mix. Last week's winner from Talladega looks like he's trying to get his 4th win of the season.
And you see him carrying a lot of momentum, comes up the outside lane. He's kind of closing on the 44 really quickly here. But the matter is, will he keep that momentum off the corner? He doesn't keep that momentum, and that's going to be the 7 car. Falling back just a little bit here. As here we have a battle for 3rd, or 4th actually. Looks like the 1 car underneath the 43 car.
84 car is up on his lid. This should bring out the caution flag here, as Jimmy North went for a wild ride down the back straightaway, and that's and we have no caution. He's still sitting on the racetrack. There he goes, North. Big issue, but we're still green, Dakota.
That's one of those things that it's uncontrollable, and when the caution doesn't fly, that's because there's like almost not a racing surface. This apron's so big, it's considered not racing surface once you get down there. You see this incident actually starts going through turns 1 and 2, 13th position, 84 car. Lap 6, man, he just closes in on the 47 Eric Horner really quickly, gets onto the bumper. 84 spins down to the inside after the 47 clicks the wall and comes down and turns him down there. They make more contact. That's what puts the 84 on his roof and sends him flipping.
And he's not very happy with him either, Dakota, as he said over the chat in the server, nice driving, Eric. I don't think he's very happy right now with driver number 47. But nevertheless, we are still green flag racing on lap number 9, and I think the battle is starting to form around 67. Brian Harvey, 00 Mark Bratcher, as we have a couple of guys getting close to the wall here.
And 12 car just spun out, we're hearing, as that's Douglas White. He's in 26th position. He's down low on the inside slow. Trying to figure out what happened with him. Just coming off of 3 and 4. He comes off 4, gets a little loose. A lot of loose, comes up, almost comes up. He saves it, keeps it down off of those guys, gets to the inside wall. He'll spin it and keep going. Looks like maybe a little bit of damage to the 12 car, but he should be all right too. Might be knocked out just a little bit there though, Tim Terry.
And still no caution out on the racetrack. We continue under the green flag on lap number 10 of 150. These guys continue to run under the green flag. It's Brundy's, Marinek, Lacrosse, Monahan, and Campbell, your top 5. Wilson has fallen back a little bit, and he's going to fall back one more position. Here comes Terrell on the inside as he looks to pick up a spot on Justin Wilson. 7 car gets up in the 43, up in almost in the wall here. Very, very close to that outside wall. Almost got a Darlington stripe there again, and almost got a stripe from the 7 coming off the corner. They're side by side down the back straightaway.
Almost turned his side to a red color there as he was racing side by side with the 7. 7's gonna stick in it, but again, it's one of those things with the inside lane. It's so hard to pass in. You really got to do it in a straightaway, and you see he wasn't able to clear him, and now the 43 is actually going to stay in front of the 7 of Bobby Terrell, and I mean, the 43 has the preferred lane here. There's nothing the 7 can do. We'll fall back in line and try to run him down. Meanwhile, up front, Eric Brundy still has moved up to a 1.9 second lead, nearly a 2-second lead up front.
And the one thing you saw there with that battle for 6th place between the 43 and the 7, when those guys were side by side, it closed in those guys behind him. It happens at every racetrack as the 7 looks at the 43 again, but it's magnified here. You don't have a whole lot of racing groove to work with, so when you're side by side, you're losing just a little more time to keep off that guy on the outside line, and it closed in Brian Harvey, Mark Bratcher, Jose Gonzalez, Abbott, and Lanza behind. So if the number 7's looking to pick up that position, he's got to pick it up really quickly and then try to drive away, because if not, he's going to have about 6 guys on his tail looking to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, that he will. Oh, he's going to throw the car into the corner. The 43 is going to give it up to him, so that's going to be Doug Roth, or not Doug Roth, usually Doug Roth. Justin Wilson subbing this week will fall back one spot and let Bobby Terrell go in his 7 machine, and that'll put Bobby actually up to the 6th position.
Yeah, Terrell will look to pick up position number 5, but he's got about a second and a half between himself and Glenn Campbell, and it might be a little bit less as this battle for 3rd is starting to heat up. 21, Matt Lacrosse has it. Monahan and Campbell won it. The 1 and 44 cars battling for that spot as well, as the 1 car looking for a place to pounce on that number 21. It looked like Lacrosse was backing everybody up in the middle of that corner, but the 1 car didn't want to jump down there and make maybe a little comprising position coming off the corner there between himself and the 21.
Yeah, looking at caution has just flown, and I found it. I want to say it's the 2 of Scott Brotherton, 18th position, lap 15, working through 3 and 4, or actually it's 1 and 2. He goes in side by side with the 71. He gets the outside wall, comes down, collects the 63 just a little bit, not much actually. 63 is alright, I think, but he comes down and gets the outside wall, inside wall. Yeah, outside wall slid back up. I mean, he's having a lot of troubles there. And he got somebody hard after the incident, after the wreck there.
Yeah, that's the 40 car. He had nowhere to go with that 2 car of spinning. That's Joey Hilton in car number 40. So another tough break for the 40 car this season. Brundys is going to come onto pit road in the 94. He's going to lead the rest of the field down. Evans getting ready to call these pit stops, and it looks like pit road's a very busy place. What are these guys going to do when they hit their boxes?
Indeed, in a crazy first 16 laps, almost thought a caution would never come out with the stuff that we saw. The track is really loose, except for Eric Brundage. You guys mentioned he got out to a 1.9 second lead just a couple laps ago. He's been on the radio with his crew chief saying, if I can stay out front here, I think I'm going to be good, because you guys see the other drivers, when they get side by side, there's no room for error. When he's up front, he can kind of go up and down the track, find a line. Eric Brundage is coming into his pit stall with all the other leaders, putting on right side tires. You're going to drop it down, maybe a slight adjustment, fill that thing up with gas, put the left sides on it, take 4 tires, but the number 7 car, or the 1 car, sorry, is going to take 2 tires off pit road to get the lead.
What a blistering stop by Monahan. 2 right side tires, and he will lead the field off. Brundys, Marinak, Lacrosse, and Wilson, your top 5 off pit road. Talk about Justin Wilson, a little bit of a pressure situation. 10th in the points for Doug Roth. Doug really can't afford to lose a whole lot of points here, Dakota, where he sits 98 points behind your leader. Wilson has a little bit of pressure on himself this evening to try to perform and try to keep that 43, at least in the top 10 point hunt in this series.
And he does, and he's doing a fantastic job so far. I mean, he did start 4th. He's currently was running 7th as he had crossed the line last time by. We'll see that scoring update this time when he comes across that start-finish line. But I have a feeling he's running towards the front, probably around the same position, I want to say, as he just crossed the line up to 5th position. So he'll be up 2 spots. Running really well, top 5. That ought to be a solid day for Doug Roth if he can finish here. He does have a long way to go here.
And then Terrell right behind in the 7 as he runs in position number 6. He's strong. He's won at Talladega. He's won 3 races this season so far. He's run well to short tracks as well, and multi-talented. You go to a super speedway, you go to a short track, you go to a 1.3 mile racetrack like Darlington, that 7 is always there. We talked about it off the top of the show. One of those late comers always is there at the end of the races, and right now in position number 6, not too bad for car number 7. He's got Glenn Campbell behind him, Mark Bratcher, Brian Harvey, and Jose Gonzalez. And the 00, 67 and 26, they were putting on a pretty good show back there for position before we hit that caution flag. Bratcher now has position on the 67 and the 26. So we'll see if the 00 maybe was holding anything back in that battle, Dakota, because he was behind the 67 but not really pushing the issue per se to try to force something to have possibly an early caution happen in that battle as opposed to what it was behind them.
Say he started 10th. He's currently running 8th. Could have been holding something back, or just riding around like you said. And it's one of those things where Darlington Speedway, you never know, because these guys, when they get out there, they're racing. They can't really run over each other. They know it's hard to pass. A lot of guys like to give a lot of room here. There's some that don't, but especially when you're running around 10th position, this is the place where you want to give room. So he could have been holding back. He could have just been riding and letting the 67 lead the way, burn up his tires or something, or until the 67 let him by. So we'll just have to find out this time as he'll line up 8th on the outside lane here.
And keep in mind, this is a little bit of a long race, 150 laps. You can't burn your stuff up in the first 50 laps of the race because you have 150 complete to run here this evening. We're going to be 19 done this time by. We'll see if the 2 tires of Monahan can keep up with the 4 of Brundys, Marinak, Lacrosse, and Wilson, your top 5, as the pace car is in. And field in command of Monahan. Where does he go? He goes right here. Green flag flies, and here comes Marinak on the inside of the 94. Brundys trying to hold him off. It's going to be a drag race for second as they go down the front straightaway. 94 on the outside, 24 on the inside. Give it to Brundys going into 1.
Yeah, Brunny's had the momentum. He had the lane. He really power into the corner, and caution is out. Lap 20. I'm looking for the caution this time to be. I see a lot of smoke up here, in a large crash involving the 7 of Bobby Terrell. And he was 5th position.
Yeah, the 7 car's got a little bit of damage to the rear end of that race car, and he was definitely involved in it. The 7 and the 43 ran out of real estate in the middle of the corner. The 44 of Campbell tried to push through 3 wide, trying to get through there. He's going to get a little bit of damage. The 00 of Mark Bratcher going to get there as well, and then that wreck becomes a little bit bigger than it was. The 92 sliding in there. I don't know how much brake bias he's running in that race car, but it looks like a little too much for him. As the 10 car as well slides through. That's John Abbott. Looks like Abbott got a little bit of contact behind from the 15 of Rhett McBride as they were going through. A wreck we're usually seeing, let's say, in the ARCA series, where we have one wreck and then a bunch of guys trying to avoid the wreck and maybe speeding up trying to get through, and they end up getting involved in a secondary wreck as a part of that. So everybody trying to figure out where their positions are here as the caution came out. I see Justin Wilson in the 43 trying to figure out where he is in the lineup, but nevertheless caution out, and a 1-2 car wreck, Dakota, becomes about a 5 car wreck off the corner.
So when you talked about John Abbott getting contact after the incident, after he got stopped, Justin Wilson pulled up, had nowhere to go, got in the back of him when Abbott was stopped. So I mean, there was even more contact, excessive contact. It seems like post wreck there, like you were talking about. And when you refer to the ARCA series like that, it's referred to, I believe, as ARCA braking.
And there's a lot of not anticipating the guy in front of you to slow down per se. You speed up a little bit of a combination of both. If you're looking at real racing, you can blame it on a spotter if you really want to. But of course, in iRacing, you have the option to run a real spotter. I'm not quite sure, Dakota, off the top of my head, how many of these guys are running real spotters and who is running the computer simulated spotter that comes with the iRacing software. It looks like, though, we're going to have a couple of drivers back here onto pit road, and Evan, if these guys come down, Bratcher, the 44, Campbell, the 26, they were all involved in this wreck, so this might be more crash damage compared to anything else.
And that's pretty much what it is. We had several cars coming down. They're still heading down, mostly for some minor damage on the front end of their cars. They all piled up there, checked up, maybe got some slight damage on the front of the car. Now, the 11 car of CJ LeVere, he has been on pit road for the last minute or so, so maybe some more heavy damage than meets the eye on that car, but mostly just damage, maybe topping off on fuel if you're at the end of the lead lap. But lots of damage down here on pit road. It's going to be a bumpy race.
And CJ LeVere came into this event 24 points behind in the number 11, so he will have some work to do after we leave the Darlington Raceway. Currently 1 lap down. He might be able to get out, Dakota, and grab a couple of quick cautions and grab the cautions right and get a couple of free passes to get back on the lead lap. But as we said, Evan said, still sitting on pit road, hasn't moved, and he's now 2 laps down.
And something is up with the race leader. He has just received an EOL penalty, and I don't quite know why, but race leader has been forced to go to the rear of the field here.
So let's step away for a few moments' time. We'll contact race control and see what's up with Clint Monahan as he is going to the rear. Eric Brundy's is your leader. Don't go away.
Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com. Created specifically for iRacing's online racing simulation game, Trading Paints provides individual racers, leagues, and painters an opportunity to share their custom-designed paint schemes with other subscribers on the iRacing.com simulation service. Part of the fun of today's simulation racing games is showing off your high-quality work with a custom-painted car or truck. TradingPaints.com lists thousands of custom-painted cars and trucks available for download.
Welcome back to Darlington. Eric Brundy's your leader. The battle is going to be for second. It's Marinek in the 24 and the 21 of Matt Lacrosse as the 24 tries to inch away from the 21 car for position number 2. And Dakota, as we went to break, Clint Monahan to the rear of the field for changing lanes. Restart violation on the last restart. Tough break for the number 1.
Yeah, the rule is you cannot change lanes before the start-finish line, and he obviously did so, I guess, getting up to the outside lane to have the arc into turn number 1. He had a fantastic jump, just maybe a little early. Unfortunate for him, but he'll go to the rear of the field. He was running well before he took those 2 tires, though, so I have a feeling he'll be back up here so long as he's not involved in an incident.
Last lap I scored in position at number 23 for the number 1 of Clint Monahan. So he definitely has some work to do, but he definitely has some time to do it as he is running on lap number 27 right now of 150. Marinek in the 24 begins to close in on your leader, Eric Brundy's in the number 94. This has been the story all season long. These two have been near the top of the points chart, and the 24 wants to get past, get an extra bonus point for leading a lap here this evening, and of course Brundy's is looking to grab the extra point for leading the most laps, albeit it is early in this race, 28 laps in.
I'll tell you what, these two are competing for the same points lead, so I'll tell you what, I don't think Brundy's going to give this up as caution flies at Darlington. I'm not sure what happened here, but another caution coming out here, Tim Terry.
That's probably your reason for the caution if I hit the right button, right? It's Jason Lester, 92, pointed the wrong direction on the back straightaway. So he might have had some help here, Dakota. 81 car as the 92 gets up in the wall. 81 gets into the back of him, sends him around. We talk about the close quarter racing and this real estate really closing up off the corner, especially when you're side by side and one car hits the wall. That's what we have here. 92 into the fence, 81 nowhere to go but into the back of him. Toe might be knocked out a little bit on the number 92 car on the back end, but other than that, he might be good to go with a little bit of repair to that car.
And I'll tell you what, man, it just looks like the he was 6th position before that incident, but looks like he just comes off the corner, like you said, really tight for the 92. This is turns 1 and 2. Generally, you see a driver a lot lower than what he was. You saw the car in front of him actually getting really low, but he wasn't able to do that. Gets the outside wall, and then the guy behind him, I mean, he's just running his line, doesn't know what's going on in front of him. Comes up off the corner, and all of a sudden there's a guy stopped right in front of him after getting in the wall. I believe that's what that was. Unfortunate, but know where the 81 could go, and that would put the 92 around, just like you said, and he'll now come down pit road to Evan Pasoko.
In a majority of the cars coming down pit road, we saw about 6 cars at the front stay out, including your leader. The first car to lead them down was the 3rd position car of Matt Lacrosse. He's getting 4 tires on it. Seems to be the strategy for everybody, as he's going to lead the charge off pit road. And that number 1 car of Clint Monahan, who did get that EOL, he's going to put 4 tires on it this time, so no 2-tire strategy. He's got to get 4 fresh ones so he can work his way through the field.
Now we have 2 different pit strategies here, Dakota. We have Eric Brundy's, Marinek, Harvey, Wyatt, Lane, and a couple of others out there too. Eric Arnold is 4 laps down, so I guess the top 5 that are scored there are the drivers that stayed out on the racetrack. Then you have Matt Lacrosse, Dave Lanza's up there as well, and a couple of others are now on new tires as Douglas Wyatt comes onto pit road, and he will relinquish position number 4. So top 4 right now on the scoring monitor stayed out on the racetrack, including 3 of the drivers who have been up in the top 10 all night long. Might not be as bad for them, but how about a guy like the 98 of Terry Lane who's subbing in for Stephen Herring this evening? I know he's trying to make a splash up there, but is it a wise decision to stay out when you've got everybody behind you on new tires?
I honestly, you're gonna have to watch here. What we saw earlier was the 94. Actually, Eric Brundy's, he ran away with the lead earlier by 2 seconds. Everybody was on the same tires. Some of these guys on fresh tires might be, able to compete with him for a few laps, but this 94 car, he's really fast on the long run. I think he proved that in the first 19 laps of the race. So honestly, I don't know that they have enough wear on the tires that they're going to be, dramatically beaten here. I want to say the 98 we haven't really seen a whole lot of, so we don't quite know exactly how he's going to be speed-wise or anything of the sort. It looks like the 24 might be heading down pit road here.
Let's see if the 24 is going to throw with fake or if he's going to go on pit road. He's going to be far away from that cone. He's going to stay out on the racetrack. So Marinak, I guess you can go down there and save a little bit of fuel if you go that close to the apron or that far down on the apron. But Brundys, Marinak, Harvey, and Terry Lane, your top four, they stay out on the racetrack here. Just a quick update of some of those drivers that have had some tough luck here this evening. Terrell in the number 7 is now 3 laps behind in position number 28 after an early wreck. You have CJ Levere in the number 11 car. He has just returned to the racetrack, Dakota. He's back there in position number 39 laps down. Looks like Jason Lester will be going to the rear on this one for causing that caution. We're double file getting ready to go back to green. Brundys and Marinak, your top two, as they form up in 1 and 2. And there looks like they're your leaders right now down the back straightaway.
Yeah, White Wolf was the inside sim racing lucky dog here at Darlington for caution number, I won't say this is caution 3 or 4. As we work through the backstretch, almost in the turn number 3, it's going to be Brundys leading us to the green flag. Marinak on his outside. Harvey sitting 3rd, Terry Lane 4th. Matt Lacrosse on his fresh tires along with David Lanza sitting 5th and 6th. Keith Brooks Jr. 7th with Bo McGuire 8th. Rhett McBride 9th with Wyatt Wolf Jr. sitting in 10th as the pace car dives. Tim Terry.
And 94 is gone. Green flag flies. Brian Harvey on the inside, going to try to take what looks like now 3rd, or trying to hold off 3rd. Terry Lane getting a push from Dave Lanza on the outside line. Matt Lacrosse in the number 21 gives the 33 a little bit of a punt. And oh boy, we almost had another caution there between 33, 21, and 98 as 98 up against the wall. Here comes the 50 of Bo McGuire behind them. They're stacking up. Rhett McBride into the inside wall, and that should bring out the caution. I believe that was a 26 that went sliding through there as well of Jose Gonzalez.
No caution yet, as that was Jose Gonzalez. Stays green. These guys get spun around. They're getting going on the front stretch once again. Big incident that will put the 15 on the inside wall coming across the start-finish line. I'm looking at this coming off of turn number 4. Look at McBride. Oh, I don't. Honestly, there's like almost 3 different incidents here. If you look in front of them, they got a little sideways, but it starts with McBride getting a lot of more sideways than everybody in front of him. Yes, I just said a lot of more. Comes down against the inside wall. Jose Gonzalez, I don't know what happened to him, but he just shot down and went and got to the inside wall as well. It looks like he was trying to miss McBride after being shot down by maybe a few other cars.
And it almost looked like those guys were anticipating something happening in front of them around Lanza, around Terry Lane, around a bunch of those other guys up there that were trying to find their own footing for position around 5th place or so. Those guys may be anticipating something, and the guys behind Rhett McBride, maybe not as much. The 1 car of Clint Monahan moves up 1 spot as he takes the 98 of Terry Lane on the inside, so it looks like Monahan continues to pick up spots after earlier being penalized on a restart. Monahan back up into the top 10, and he will be scored in position number 8.
And I tell you what, got a battle heating up for 3rd, 67 and 21. Brian Harvey, Matt Lacrosse. Looks like Lacrosse, remember, on those fresher tires, is creeping up on the 67. Looks like here he goes low. He's going to throw the car in deep. Lets it push up now next to the wall. Will power off the corner. Good run and nice pass by the 21, making that clean and efficient. Very quick there. The 26 with Jose Gonzalez. Now it's down pit road after receiving some damage in the earlier wreck with David, or not David. Yeah, I want to say it was actually David Lanza.
And you look back there, Dakota, to Dave Lanza as he tries to make the move on the 67 of Brian Harvey. That's 33 and 67 for position number 4. Lanza finished 6th in this event last season. The only 2 drivers currently in this race that finished in the top 10 in this race last season. You're looking at the 33 of Dave Lanza, and then you're looking at the number 12 of Douglas Wyatt. And I'm trying to see where that number 12 car is running right now. He's running back in 18th place. So the 33 of Dave Lanza, trying to take some lessons he might have learned last year, albeit with a different car on this iRacing service, and looking to put himself further than that 6th place he finished last year, currently doing so in position number 5.
What, the only guy that, you know, I don't see any of these guys besides Stefan Marinak. He was here last season, I guess. Finished 13th after starting 13th last season. Was a ways out of the lead, I guess. He actually finished several laps down. Only completed 74 of the 90 laps. But this would be Marinak's 2nd time around, I want to say. As caution flies here at Darlington once again, and I found it. All right, Bradshaw, 28th position. He's in the 00 car. He spins after collecting the outside wall coming off the turn number 2, comes down, gets the inside wall, slides up the track, 00. And you know, a lot of 2 cars going now underneath him, and they'll get by. The rest of the field will come, and he'll get off the track.
And all by himself. Did Mark Bratcher go around, and he, as you mentioned, 3 laps down in position number 28. When that happened, we mentioned him earlier having such a strong run, and then all of a sudden that lady in black, she grabs you, bites you, and spits you out, and it looks like Bratcher not going to finish this race. Or if he does come back out with crash damage, it'll likely be outside the top 30. As the pace car has collected Eric Brundy's, and it looks like he is on the apron. Could he be headed towards pit road here on this caution flag? It looks like he will, and he will bring the leaders along with him. So it looks like that pit strategy worked out, Evan, as all these drivers now coming on to pit road, and they're going to be on the same sequence as they come down. And I believe Evan is at the popcorn stand or something there, Dakota, so it looks like we get to call pit stops.
Yeah, yes, I believe John Abbott has stayed out to lead a lap. I'll tell you what, Matt Lacrosse is going to be the biggest gainer here. He's up to 3rd after getting those fresh tires. Now he can come down. He probably has the option of taking 2 here. We'll have to find out as he now comes down towards his stall. 2nd place car comes in. 24 is at his stall. 94 at his stall. You see Matt Lacrosse has to back up. So might see a 2-tire call for him for sure, else he might lose a spot or 2 as right sides are up. And I believe Evan Pizzucco showed us back again.
And back down on pit road, no fake for the 24 this time, and that different pit strategy that you mentioned, they all come down, and one person that did benefit from this caution were the cars that were involved in the wreck where there was no caution about 5 laps ago. They stayed out, hoping for the caution. Now they're going to come in under caution and get that damage fixed and hopefully not lose as many laps. But right now in the lead, it's going to be the number 10 of John Abbott, who did not go down pit road. And Eric Brundy's the 94, currently scored 2nd. This is all going to change as they come down by the stripe. So as you mentioned, those 2 different pit strategies are now starting to cross each other over.
And 2 tires in the 33. He's going to win the race off pit road here, guys. 2 right sides for Dave Lanza. And we mentioned it earlier, top 6 here last season. Dakota, I think he likes this racetrack, as I believe we are going to step away for just a few moments' time. They took a pit stop. We're going to take a pit stop here on ETV Live. Don't go away. We'll be right back from Darlington.
Landon Huffman coming to a comfortable lead, coming out of 2. He's got about 8 car lengths, put it half a second over to Wayne Vincent as Chad Cole works the number 2 spot.
Time is running out. Vincent's got it. Cole wants it to the wall. Chevrolet puts the bumper to the 13 of Vincent. Vincent not backing down. He's in 2nd. You know, and we got 1 car on the bottom of the 10 car.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50 caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy.
Welcome back to Darlington. The number 10, John Abbott, getting ready to lead us to green. The 33 of Dave Lanza in 2nd. And Dakota, this is the first time we're not going to see the 94 set the pace of this restart. So we'll see what the 10 and 33 can do, and we'll see how quickly the 94 tries to make something happen.
And how about the one of Clint Monahan? He has snuck up into position. He's inside the top 10 and 8th. But here we go, John Abbott. He's got to make sure he does not change lane before the start-finish line. Pace car is off, and John Abbott is away.
And he will, it looks like a lane change to me, Dakota, as he goes up to the outside line before the start-finish line. 33 of Lanza in 2nd, 94 runs in position number 3. 71 up into the fence. Keith Brooks Jr. First time we've seen him up in the top 5. It might be the last time, by the way. That went in corner number 1 and 2 as he almost kisses the wall again off 2.
And it looks like, yeah, he's going to lose into the spot. There goes, I want to say that was, who was that just went around him? More than one car. Here goes Monahan around him as well. And up front, I believe, Brundys was challenging Lanza. He does challenge. He clears Lanza. Lanza pulls over for him, and now Brundys sets his sights on the race leader. That's the 94 in second position.
And the number 10 stayed out on that last caution flag, so you would think the 94 would try to make light work of John Abbott. He goes to the inside of the 10 car, and it looks like he will try to pick up the spot. The 10 car fighting back on the outside, but nothing much of a battle in the middle of the corner. 94 back up to the top of the scoring pylon as Eric Brundys has been black flagged now in the number 94, according to what I'm seeing here on the screen. I'm not sure what that one's for, Dakota, but nevertheless, your leader black flagged, so John Abbott would be scored as your leader. 94, though, has to come down to serve a penalty. We'll have to see.
And it looks like he switched lanes as well as John Abbott. Both parties being penalized here, it does appear.
I'm looking for a penalty on that number 10 of John Abbott, but it looked like from the replay. We'll see if Laura can get a replay queued up here. That restart, your leader goes up to the outside line before the start-finish line. So we'll have to wait and see what goes on there. But nevertheless, the 10 car, John Abbott, is still scored as your leader. Now Matt Lacrosse in second. Where did Matt Lacrosse come from? As he is coming up to the outside line and gets into the fence in the corners 3 and 4. So he'll have to reset and try to catch that number 10 again. But it looks like Dakota, it looks like that 10 car, when he got on the gas, he goes to the outside, and have to wait and see here. But now he's trying to control the lead position as he's got the 21 bearing down on him.
And I'll tell you what, he was actually coming over the radio, race official radio, and assuring Brundys. Brundys is not happy, but he's been assuring Brundys everything's going to be okay. They're going to get it sorted out. If they need to give him a wave round for, correcting the issue or something, they will. So I think this isn't the last we'll hear of this event, as Abbott has not been penalized yet by race officials, as he has a lot of company. There it goes! The 21 is clear, and here comes Marinak. He's also around. So now 24 and 21 set up positions number 1 and 2 as Abbott falls back to third.
And when you look at this, it's Marinak now out in front of the point lead essentially now too, with the Eric Brundys machine back there in 25th place, 1 lap down, regardless whether it was a mistake or not, Dakota. You still have to get that lap back, and you could be up 10th in the lineup, but you're going to be 25th, scored as 25th. You're going to have to go to the rear on the restart. So it's tough for Brundys because he will have to reset and get that lap back and also pick his way back up through the field. So tough break for him. Dave Lance is on the inside line. What's going on here with the 33? He's on the inside line, and is he possibly coming to pit road here?
I'm not sure, but I was hearing somebody was in the wall, and it was Eric Arnold who has now come down pit road.
Evan's down there on pit road. I'm sure he's got something on the 47, but what about the 33? Dave Lanza was up in the top 5. Now he's coming down to you.
Well, to start off the 47 of Eric Arnold, you're seeing it. You just saw there on the E-play. He comes out of turn 2. He got into the wall, and once you get into the wall on turn 2 here, which seems to be where all the issues are, you're not standing much of a chance. Now, the number 33 of Dave Lanza coming down. We don't see much damage on his car as he's coming down pit road. We're going to try to talk to his crew chief here soon. He's in his pit stall putting on tires. So not too sure what the situation with the 33 is. Now he has pulled through his pit stall, starts it in reverse, and he is having problems down here in his pit stall.
It seems like, Dakota, that you really don't want to be running up front, as Matt Lacrosse, I believe, may have got close to the wall there in the number 21 leading this race. It seems like if you're running up front, you have some sort of problem bite you. Here comes the 1 of Monahan underneath the number 10 of John Abbott for position number 3. 10 car on the outside, and now he gets his penalty for the lane change on the restart. The 1 car, Clint Monahan, going to try to make his way past the 10 car, looking to the inside and possibly looking for pit road this time to serve that penalty. But nevertheless, 10 car up front. He gets black flag for a lane change. Brundy's, same deal. Bobby Terrell was running up front earlier. CJ Lavere was running up front. Mark Bradsher. All these drivers that I'm mentioning were well within the top 10, and then they have something bite them, and they're either a lap down or out of the race.
And up front, we had a lead change. 24, Stefan Marinak to the lead. He goes around the 21 of Matt Lacrosse here on lap 54 of 150. Less than 100 to go here.
And as Marinak goes to the lead, he'll get that bonus point for leading a lap this evening. And he's the only driver really in the top 4 in points that is having a decent night right now, with Brundy's having the black flag, Lavere having damage, Terrell having damage. Matt Lacrosse, 5th in points, is standing to gain a lot of positions and a lot of points here so far at this juncture of the race, albeit we're only 1/3 of the way into this event. You're looking at the 21 right now, possibly gaining a lot of points and possibly leaving here tonight in 3rd if this all works out for him.
That's somewhat to watch out for. I mean, Brundy's has got to improve on where he's running 23rd. Currently, he came in with a 3-point lead. He's led a lap. I highly doubt that he'll... Oh! 21 in the wall. That's Matt Lacrosse, outside wall. He's getting run down now by the 1 at of Clint Monahan. As Monahan... Oh! As he gets the wall again.
We sure Denny Hamlin's not driving that race car? That's 3 times in 1 lap that he's hit the fence in the All-Star Performance number 21. Here goes the 1 to the inside. Monahan will pick up the spot. And now the 21 will try to drive what I'm sure is a damaged car right now. And the way he's driving that car, Dakota, the toe might be knocked out just a little bit on that race car, hitting that wall 3 times on that last lap. So he is sitting now in position number 3 as he tries to reset himself. And it looks like he's found his footing right now as he tries to chase down Clint Monahan.
Yeah, he's hanging on to the bumper of the 1 car there, but nothing giving as the 1 car really gets up next to that wall. The 21, hanging off that wall. You'll see he's going to lose a little bit of time because he doesn't have the arc that the 1 has. He gets a lot more sideways off the corner because he missed the line. And that's just him being a little cautious because he got in the wall a few times. He's afraid to get up there now. You see him gain a lot of time. He has to brake really hard because he was running too low into the corner, into the middle. But now he's coming up off the corner. He's losing even more time. I mean, he's really... the secret to Darlington is getting high in the center of the corner, and that's what he's not doing because he's a little terrified of the wall, I think, right now. Once you get that wall, it bites you, and you're kind of afraid to get back up there. And you see that from the 21 kind of easing his way back up there, but he's still kind of struggling here.
Falling off a little bit now off that number 1 of Monahan, and these drivers are falling off the leader of Marinak. It's about 1.3 seconds the last time by between the 24 and the 1 car, as the 24 car is working up on 2 lapped cars. That's Gonzalez in the 26, who is 1 lap down, and John Abbott, who is 1 lap down. So those guys are battling for position, but here comes your leader, the 24. He puts the 26, now 2 laps in the rears.
And Jose Gonzalez, I mean, there was no way he was going to stay on the lead lap. Look at how quickly he's coming back. Here comes Monahan now to the inside. And the 1 machine, the 26, stuck up next to the wall. 21 comes underneath, gets a little sideways. He's going to be all right. Not a whole lot of room with that 26 car taken up right next to the wall right there off the corner.
Yeah, I think the 21 kind of hoped that when they got to the straightaway that they would possibly maybe make it a 3-wide move and try to get that number 1 car, but the timing just did not work out for the number 21 on the number 1 of Clint Monahan. That's your battle for second as they moved up on the 26, and they're going to have probably 1 more opportunity, Dakota, probably in the next 5 laps or so if this race stays green, because your leader in the 24 has the 10 car in front of him, and looks like we are still green. We have 1 car spun around in the back.
Yeah, he got rolling, and I was watching. It looked like he was looking for pit road all of a sudden. It's the 09 car, 21st position, coming through the apron, just through 3 and 4. He's really slow down there. Doesn't try to rejoin the surface, but, I mean, he almost, goes past the... I mean, he drove through the commitment line and everything. Looks like he wants to pit, but can't. I'm not sure what happened there, but maybe the 09 missing pit road. But what I'm hearing was 09 was actually punted by the 11 car. That was... Yeah, it was the 98 of Terry Lane, or maybe it was the 11. 11 is in the picture. Almost makes a little contact with the 98, but definitely with the 11. 11 sends him barrel rolling, so that might have been why he was trying to get down pit road.
And looking back there, CJ Lavery 11 laps down in the number 11 car. Could that possibly be something from a little bit earlier, maybe earlier in the season that transpired between himself and Ellers? Have to keep an eye on that as we go through here this evening and the rest of the season. The 21 and 1 car about to go at it for second. It looked like Matt Lacrosse was a little bit timid, fell back a little bit, but he's really poured the pressure on in these last few laps on Clint Monahan as he is working up the back bumper, now about a car length between the two going into corner number 3.
I'll tell you what, there's one guy that really wants to see a caution right now, and that's the 94. He's the first car 1 lap down. Behind him, not very far back, I would say, because the guy that was behind him in position was John Abbott. Abbott's been almost lapped and nearly put 2 laps down. I mean, the leader's right on his bumper, and then you have Brundys, who's half a lap ahead of them, I guess, but he's the first car 1 lap down. If Marinak laps any more cars, Brundys has to get in front of them to get the lucky dog. Right now, Brundys in a perfect position if a caution does fly here, Tim Terry.
And he's got about probably 10 laps or so, unless something happens to Randall Holcomb or Gabaldoni, who are sitting probably about a half straightaway in front of the 24 right now of Stefan Marinak, your leader. So he's hoping as a battle for position up there, 89 and 69, that is your battle for 19th place. And as they went side by side, the 69 car, Gabaldoni, experiences problems. The 24 going to go to the outside of him, and I said 5 or 10 laps unless somebody has an issue. There's your issue. 69 is now your first driver. That is 1 lap down.
In the 94, he's kind of be sitting there thinking, oh, snap. Or maybe the crew chief ain't telling him, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, either way, 24 leading the way. He's leading strong. Behind him, Clint Monahan on the racetrack in the 1 machine. He's not too far back, and you remember, he restarted 8th. Oh.
As the 69 and the 1 nearly have a moment there down the back straightaway, the 21 of Matt Lacrosse try to gain some time on the number 1 of Clint Monahan. And I think Monahan saw that number 21 behind him getting bigger and bigger in the rearview mirror and possibly started to step it up just a little bit to see what he has on this run. I don't think we're done with caution flags. We're obviously not done with pit stops. So maybe step it up here and see what your car has. And then when we get a caution, maybe adjust accordingly, throw some tires on it, and get going again.
Well, I think we know what the 1 car has, and it's something good. I mean, if you remember, he received an EOL for changing lanes at the earlier point in the race. If you do remember, went to the rear of the field, behind 20th position. Is currently sitting in the 2nd position, running down the race leader, laying out some really fast lap times, 30.0 to an 091. He laid down an 017. He's just about almost a 10th faster than the race leader currently.
And your race leader once again looks to be in some traffic as the 10 car, John Abbott, still in front of your leader. Now keep in mind, he did stay out on that last caution and ended up getting the lane change penalty. And about to go 2 laps down here if the 24 can get up and try to make his way past in that number 24 car. Looking back there at Brundys as well, 30.15 last lap by for Marinak, last lap by for Brundys, 30.42. So Marinak a little bit quicker than his adversary in the point standings right now.
Fastest guy on the racetrack, though. Clint Monahan, 30.050. He is flying in that 1 machine and running down the race leader there. As caution flies. 7 car on the backstretch. We're hearing Bobby Terrell. I think this isn't the first time. I think this is the 2nd time for the 7 car. And it happens coming off of turn number 4. He's racing side by side. Tight racing, and he's getting a little sideways money. He had a little bit of help there. Gets spun down to the inside, gets to the inside wall, spins back up the racetrack, and I don't think collects anybody else. Got close. He might have got Jose Gonzalez just a little bit. Doesn't look like he really gets anybody else as he backs up and gets going again here.
So the 24 car of Marinak will grab the pace car. We expect some pit stops to happen here. And, of course, this is your RSR Asphalt Assault Series presented by Inside Sim Racing. And they are proud partners of this series. Inside Sim Racing, your first and best choice for all the news and reviews in online motorsports. Join Darren and Sean for the latest and greatest in product review, simulation, auto racing games for the PC and Xbox crowd, from steering wheels to full-size racing rigs, updates on popular racing games, and a whole lot more. The yellow pages of online auto racing. Inside Sim Racing has it all. Visit them at isrtv.com. And speaking about visiting places, looks like your leaders are going to visit pit road right now as Marinek, Monahan, Lacrosse, your top three. How about Bo McGuire in the 50? Comfortably in the top five right now in fourth, and Brian Harvey, your top five, as they are all coming down to the attention of Evan.
That's right. Every single car almost on the lead lap coming down for pit stops. Your leader, Stefan Marinek, he's got to go all the way down. He's got a long pit stop way down there at the end of pit road. And this pit road's a very confined space. You got to watch the other drivers, and they're going to look to make a quick stop here as you can lose it. And like you guys said, there have been lots of cautions this race so far. So the 24 car pulling into his pit stall, nice and smooth entry. He's going to put it up on the jet, get right side tires. All the drivers behind him doing that same thing. Puts up for left side tires at the 24. He's going to be away, and it looks like all the drivers are taking 4 tires, and they're off. 24 followed by the 1 car.
And the 21 behind him, the 50, and it was close off pit road for 5th. Could very well be the 65, 67, 43. They're all trying to figure out where they came off pit road. But it looks like the 67 might take position at number 5 off pit road. We may have had 1 or 2 that stayed out there, Glenn Campbell being one of them. He is going to come onto pit road now. I don't think he is going to lead a lap on this exchange, which might hurt him a little bit, but he's now coming onto pit road. He's going to bring Terrell along with him. Obviously, the 7 is 3 laps behind the pace at this point. So the 44 car comes onto pit road. That should hand the lead back over to your former leader, I believe, Marinek, in the number 24.
And I'll tell you what, Marinek is not going unchallenged. Eric Brundy's, I don't know whether they deemed his penalty unnecessary or something, but he's been waved around the pace car, and he's going to be back in the lead lap here.
So Brundy's will be back on the lead lap, so that'll put about 22 or so on the lead lap. When we come back from commercial, we're going to step away for just a few moments' time, and we'll be back with Marinek as your leader at Darlington.
Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50 caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy.
Green flag out for Marinek as he is gone. The 21 of Matt Lacrosse in second. He's going to try to take Monahan for the spot. Great run on the restart for Matt Lacrosse as the 1 car will now ride in third. Bo McGuire holding his own as well as the 67 behind him. Brian Harvey in the top 5 as we go back to green on 76.
And I'll tell you what, I got clarification on why the 94 was waved around the field. The admins deemed it was a wrong call to black flag him there, so he was given his lap back. Jason Lester has been black flagged for 1 lap for making contact with the 7 car.
And as the contact word is thrown around, the 21 and the 1 are once again go at it, and there was almost a little bit of contact between the 1 and the 21, and there was almost contact between the 1 and the wall. As they go down the back straightaway, the 21 has a little bit of separation now on Clint Monahan as Lacrosse holds down position number 2, and I believe, Dakota, we might have a little bit more on that number 92 story. I'm seeing the letters DQ thrown around.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, when I was up there talking to race officials, they were actually debating, they were pretty sure that they were actually making the wrong call by black flagging him. They actually thought that he was supposed to be parked for the rest of the race due to the amount of incidents he was in, or for what he did. I don't know exactly what happened on track, but I do know that I believe they were telling him that the lead admin or the guy that was watching the 92's car, that he was supposed to be parked for the rest of the race, and that's what they've done, as Jason Lester has been disqualified.
Watch that number 1 car go into that last corner, and we talk about drifting that car up to the wall. This racetrack's so easy to overdrive. You get that good run. Okay, I'm going to be able to get this run off the corner. I'm going to be able to pick up a whole lot of time, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, there's a wall out there. And I think that's what Clint Monahan experienced, and you see the gap now between the 21 and the 1. It's now the 50 that's closer to the 1 car than the 1 car is to picking up second.
In 94 car, Eric Brundy's going to be up to 10th position. He just went around the 71 of Keith Brooks Jr., so make that points leader up to 10th.
But he's going to have to hurry to get back to the front of the field. I think Marinik has really found his footing up in front. He's found a pace he wants to run, and he's comfortable doing it up in front, and nobody's really pressuring him from behind, at least at this point. Right now, if it were to end this way, Brundys would lose the point lead. Matt Lacrosse would likely go to 3rd in the standings with the way that he's running. So we're standing to have a big shakeup here in the standings if the race were to end this way, but albeit we still have half the race to go. We crossed the halfway point 5 laps ago. We're working lap number 81 of 150 right now, and the former point leader as it stands right now, Dakota, Eric Brundys, as you mentioned, in position number 10 and going for 9th.
I'll tell you what, Matt Lacrosse picking up a pretty good amount of time in second position in his 21 machine. He's kind of on a rail. I want to say that he's holding pretty good ground to the 24. 24 not quite driving away. 21 isn't falling back into the clutches of the 1 of Clint Monahan. Really awesome run here for Matt Lacrosse. So, I know we've said before the race started, he has trouble putting races together, but he is fast, and he's proving out here tonight he is fast. Hopefully he can get that race put together here.
And possibly trying a different strategy to get there. Now the question might be for that number 21 car. We've just passed the halfway point in this race. We're probably going to have a couple more cautions and a couple more pit stops. Is he saving anything? Is he letting Marinik possibly play a little bit of mind game, go out and burn up his stuff a little bit, and maybe Matt's possibly saving something here?
I don't know. They have a pretty good gap back to Monahan, though, who's 1.2 seconds behind the leader and just about 7 seconds behind Matt Lacrosse, I want to say. But I'll tell you what, how about Bo McGuire sitting up in the 4th position, also known as Bo Bruning, in the 50 car. He's doing a fantastic run for him. I mean, he was looking at a shot at winning Talladega last week, ran into some trouble, but 50 car looking strong once again. He is down to the bumper of Clint Monahan, and I know he's from the dirt track era. This might be kind of his backyard here.
Yeah, it's not just a 4th place run right now or a top 5 run. It's a comfortable top 5 run because he's been there in the last couple of runs in that 4th place spot. Now it's just a matter if he can do anything a little bit more. Wilson behind as he nearly bought the farm in the middle of 3 and 4. That thing was sideways.
And 71, Keith Brooks Jr., he's around on the inside lane of the backstretch. He's going to get the wall and stop and pull off track, it does look like, as he's coming off of turn number 2, maybe. I want to say 2. And yeah, man, he had a check up for the 44, and he got run over from behind.
Meat in the sandwich by the looks of it there is the 44 slowed down, you mentioned, and the 56 didn't really anticipate the 71 slowing down. I'm sure really didn't see it there. And I don't know if we can get an in-car possibly with the number 56, and you can really see how boxy these race cars are. He probably really didn't anticipate the 44 71 slowing up. He probably saw the 44 slow ahead of them, but with the room that we have in this racetrack, or lack thereof, you see what happens there. Everything happens really quickly. Speaking about happening really quickly, here comes the 24, 21, the 1, and the rest of your leaders down onto pit road. To Evan, what are we seeing here on these pit stops?
In probably fuel strategy, the crew chiefs are calculating. They're keeping into account how many cautions we've had, and you guys mentioned we just passed the halfway point, and they weren't down on pit road too long ago, so they're going to maybe put a couple right side tires on it, mostly fill that thing up with fuel. Looks like 4 tires for the majority of the race cars. And a note on that number 63 of White Wolf, he did get into the back of the 71, which was the same situation as Jason Lessler with the number 7 of Bobby Terrell, and that caused Jason Lessler to be disqualified. So it'll be interesting to see what the officials go, and that is what the crew chiefs are talking about right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this.
And how about an in-car? Can we get an in-car camera on the 81 car, who was 18th at the time of the caution, who ended up being collected? And I mean, his day is ended probably, I want to say, because he took a hit. But I mean, you saw the wheel. I mean, it just goes all kinds of different ways. He doesn't know where to go, and it kind of shows. So I mean, what happens and how fast it happens from a driver's point of view. I don't think he had much else he could do, and ends up just taking a very hard hit from the 71, keeping it down underneath the track. Engine was gone the second he hit, though. I mean, you can hear the engine just go, and he's got no throttle input whatsoever after that.
And especially where everybody is so close and it comes together so quickly. We talked about those drivers not having a whole lot of time to anticipate, and it's just really, when you look at it, a driver, does he go a little bit quicker? Does he try to get past it with the throttle, or does he try to brake and try to slow down for the wreck? And we've seen it before with the couple of drivers that have gone through some of these wrecks with the gas. We've seen a couple of guys anticipate maybe a little bit better than the other and get on the brake pedal a little bit quicker than some of their competitors do. It's tough to call, especially when it happens right in front of you. We've got some drivers, though, that are moving up here, Dakota. We have the 94 of Eric Brundy's. He's now in position number 9 under this caution flag. How about Doug Fleming? We haven't talked a whole lot about him this evening. He's in position number 7 in the 28 car. Justin Wilson back up in the top 5. There's some drivers here that are looking to make a splash, but it looks like right now, with us just past the halfway point in this race, I think your top 3 right now are the class of the field.
I would say so. And how about Brian Harvey? I think we talked a little bit about him earlier. Started around the 10th position. Man, he's running well in the top 10 most of the day. I mean, fantastic run for Brian Harvey. And, you know, I really, it just is an outstanding day for the crew of the 67. And I do believe we have him on the radio. The 67 car is running in the 9th position, which means, or it's qualified 9th, actually. He's currently running in the 6th position. Move him up 3 spots. And Brian Harvey, man, good run for your team today here. And try this again here. Coming up in the broadcast booth for ETV Live, Brian Harvey, got a copy.
Oh, yes, I do.
Well, I think we got you a little late now. Getting set for the green flag, so we'll get you next caution if at all available there. So good luck to you here.
All right, thanks a lot.
Maybe some communication issues there, Tim Terry.
He must be just excited because he's going to start in position number 6 here. The 24 bringing him down a little slower than they used to. Green flag flies. The 1 and the 43 car now on the inside of the 21 and 50 respectively. That's your battle for position number 2. And Dakota, I was going to mention it a little bit earlier with the box here on these restarts. Pace car peels off early as the 50 car up into the fence. The 43 going to pick up the spot. When that pace car peels off early, there's so much of a big box that leader can go in.
Definitely is, and I'll tell you what, side by side back here, 50 and 15. Man, they were going at it. Here they go, crossover. 50 car to the inside. 15 gets to the wall, comes down just a little bit. Gonna be all right. He's gonna stay up in the outside lane. 50 car gonna clear the 15. It does look like, and he moves up to arc his corner in. He'll go inside. Like he'll start the corner low, and then again move up next to the wall, like I said earlier. So looks like 50 gonna go around the 15 in the end of that ordeal.
And he seems to really excel on these long runs, does Beau Maguire. So he's going to have to get past these first couple of laps. Everybody's close. Then he's going to have to try to set sail and catch those drivers in front of him, or at least drive away from the 15 and the rest of the drivers behind him. Marinak continues to lead, Matt Lacrosse in second, Monahan in third, but the one car has company in the 43 of Justin Wilson. Third and fourth down the back straightaways, the 43 tries to make something happen on the number 1. What a great run for Wilson, subbing in for Roth.
And David Land's a slow car on the inside. He has been passed by a lot of the lead lap cars here. 21st position, unfortunately, is some damage to that car. But I'll tell you what, Wilson all over the bumper of that one car. Another good battle on the racetrack right now would be the battle for the 7th position, as Harvey has a lot of company from Brundys. Brundys all over his bumper. Brundys just can't seem to find the opening to get around him.
Needs one little mistake, and here at Darlington, that mistake could very well happen very quickly, as the 33 now, that lap car, ahead of this battle with the 67 and the 94 car, so they'll have to navigate around Dave Lanza. 94 going to go to the inside, pokes the nose on the inside. Could he possibly use the 33 as a pick? They're not there yet, but I think that 94 possibly maybe thinking one step ahead or 2 steps ahead, trying to get past the 67.
Tell you what, 15 car got the wall a little bit earlier too. He's right in front of that group. Here comes the 94 to the inside. 33 pulls off. Looks like he's looking for pit road. Going to be side by side back here with the 67, 94 for 7th position. 94 making a stick on the inside. 67 nearly gets the outside wall. 94 clears the 67 on the inside lane. That's something you don't often see. So awesome car the 94 has right there. Asina sets his sights on the 6th place car, the 15 of Rhett McBride.
You have to believe that they were holding their breath there as they saw that 33 zip in front of their noses to go down to pit road, and it looks like he's going to call it a night in the 33 car for Dave Lanza. But boy, what a close call between that 94, 67, and the 33. And now the 94 is setting sail, looking at Rhett McBride for position number 6 as he closes in on the 15 car.
Meanwhile, up front, the 43 of Justin Wilson, he just got around the 1 of Clint Monahan. Monahan moves back to the 4th position. Wilson up to 3rd in the 43 car for Doug Roth. Matt Lacrosse still currently sits 2nd, 3.35 seconds back, so 3.5 tenths behind the race leader. And he's kind of closing that gap a little bit here in his 21 machine.
94 quickly makes the 15 car position number 7 as the Eric Brundys car moves up. I think Brundys might have something for these drivers. And again, we said the top 3 on that restart were really the class of the field. But you look at Justin Wilson, he kind of starting to surprise us here with a little bit of a strong run in the closing stages of this race. So the 43 of Justin Wilson, the 1 of Clint Monahan. That's your battle for position number 3. Wilson trying to show that he's got a strong piece here.
Well, I don't think he's trying. He is showing he is a strong piece here. He's hanging in strong, the 43 of Justin Wilson. He's definitely leading the 1 to Clint Monahan, and Monahan was earlier running down the leaders. Remember, Monahan went back to about 20th, beyond 20th position after receiving the EOL penalty for changing lanes before the start-finish line. And now you see Monahan back up to the top 5. So, I mean, I think he's just happy to be up there. But earlier, he was running as a race leader really quickly. Was one of the fastest cars on the track in the long run. Now he's being beaten by Justin Wilson. So Wilson really showing he is a strong car right now.
Yeah, he's definitely stepped it up here in the last few laps. We're going to close in on 52 laps to go, this time by the stripe. We're working lap number 98 of 150. Marinak continues to lead by 0.3 of a second over Lacrosse. Closest battle on the racetrack appears to be this battle for 3rd, as Monahan is all over the wall in corner number 4. And there goes that battle. The 43 of Wilson going to close in on a lap car of Gonzalez, but the 1 car of Monahan, he pancaked that wall in 4.
And he did. He comes back, slows up Jose Gonzalez, and here comes Bo Bruni, who's McGuire. He's also known, but man, he got sideways and saved that car, held it down. He's now coming back up on track. He'll give up the 5th position, probably fall back beyond 10th. Actually, he has the 63 car who was in 10th position on his bumper now. So what a save by the 50 car of Bo McGuire.
That's a great save by the 50 and possibly a game changer. He can still grab a caution, Dakota, maybe come down and grab some tires and still salvage a top 5 run if he can not do what he just did again. It's a 26 car up into the fence in front of the 50, the 63, and the rest of the field there. That's a close call for the 50 of Bo McGuire. as he tries to salvage something here, at least a top 10 run. And I think if he does grab a caution in these next 50 laps, he's still a prime candidate for a top 5 finish.
Yeah, I think he is. I'll tell you what, when you talk top 5, how about the 94 Eric Brundy's up to the 5th position?
Definitely a strong car there and really picking off positions. You saw the 50 car go behind the rest of the field, and I think he's going to have 4th here if that one car keeps getting into the fence in the middle of the corner. Monahan had an up-close and personal encounter with the fence there in the middle of 3 and 4. Brundy's begins to close in, albeit he is about 2 seconds behind. Now it's a little bit less. It's about a second and a half or so between the number 1 and the number 94 car. So Brundy's maybe not as fast as some of these drivers, but those drivers in front of him begin to make mistakes, and that's where he's capitalizing.
Well, I'll tell you what, Brundy's is really kind of safe right now. I don't know how to put it, but I got this note card slid up to me by one of our producers, and it was something that our pit reporter sent up here. It was Evan Pasoka saying that there was a driver or two complaining Eric Brundy's changed lanes on the restart, apparently this time. Clearly, is what it said on the note card. Race officials did not see it, though, they said, so no penalty for the 94 car this time. So it looks like 94 is okay, and he's away, black flag free here.
So something the officials will have to watch. And we talked about the late penalties, Dakota, when we were talking about Brundy's getting the penalty and then having it cleared, and then the 10 car waiting so long to get that penalty. As race officials, you kind of have to think, well, how long do I wait to throw a penalty out there? You have to think right now the 94, it's way past that race there. He should be free and clear to continue to race as he's closing in on the 1 of Monahan. He should have that position, or at least be on the back door of the 1 in the next 5 laps or so.
I would say, if you looked last time across the line was 3.7 seconds back and 2.9. He made up a 10th on the race leader, and Clint Monahan just lost like 4 tenths from the race leader, and that's what's brought the 1 back to the 94. 94, really solid line right there. You see him making up a lot of time on the 1 car there. Is looking for the battle for 4th here. 94 just got to the bumper of the 1, it does appear, and it looks like Wilson not too far out in front of him.
So the 1 and 94 going at it for position number 4, Monahan and Brundy's. Brundy's trying to make quick work of the number 1, and obviously we're expecting, I shouldn't say we're expecting another caution flag, because these guys have a green flag look to this race, and we've seen before that these guys can go a long green flag run to the finish as the 1 car's in the fence again off corner number 2, and he's going to lose the spot to Eric Brundy's. If you're not anticipating a caution flag, you have to have that sense of urgency like Brundy's looks to have right now. He's up in position number 4. He's got about a second to catch Justin Wilson. If he can continue the run that he's having, he'll likely catch the 43. If this race stays green, he's likely a 3rd place car. Marinek has led the most laps, I do believe, in this race so far, Dakota, which would put Marinek, if Brundy's can get up to 3rd, would put him in a point lead, I believe, by 1 point leaving here.
It's going to be close. Either way, these guys are, fighting tooth and nail. They're not giving an inch to each other. Just when you think one's day just went bad, he makes it up, within 50 or 60 laps here. Brundy's, who were just talking about, probably 50 laps ago, was, again, sitting probably around 20th, 1 lap down. First car 1 lap down. Now he's sitting 4th, back in the lead lap, running down some of the lead lap cars. 4th position, like Justin Wilson, who is now in 3rd in his 43 car for Doug Roth.
Great run for Wilson as he passes the lapped car. I believe that might be Wyatt Wolf, in front of the number 94 now of Eric Brundy's. The 56 car is the first driver laps down. He's 2 laps down in 19th place. Gabaldoni is the last driver on the lead lap, about 28 seconds behind your leader, or just about a half straightaway ahead of your leader, Stefan Marinek. Right now is the 56 and 94 nearly have a moment off corner number 2. The 94 going to pass the lap vehicle of the 56. So Eric Brundy's position number 4 right now and closing in on Justin Wilson, but you have to believe he lost maybe a couple of tenths of a second there.
He might have, but I'll tell you what. Whoa! Leader might be losing a couple tenths of a second here. He just got wicked sideways. 24 car Stefan Marinek, and guess who's to his bumper now? That's going to be the 21 Matt Lacrosse. Lacrosse is not going to give this guy an inch. I think every time the 24 messes up, the 21's sitting here and enjoying it. I mean, he's been riding right about 3/10 behind the leader, waiting for the leader to make a mistake. Leader does. It's not big enough for the 21 to get around, but the leader has been making mistakes here, just a few, that has let the 21 get back up to his bumper. I think that's the thing you see here. But when the 24 hits his line, he hits it stout, and he runs away a little bit from the 21. So definitely an interesting battle up here for the race lead as the 24 pulls back away from the 21 just a little bit.
And keep in mind, Dakota, he made those mistakes for the most part running on his own. And right now he's got the number 21. Oh, 24 into the fence again. He gets loose. Here comes the 21 on the outside line. And it's going to be side by side for the lead. 21. Matt Lacrosse going to take it. I was about to say that 21 was on the back bumper. You want to talk about running on your own and making mistakes, and then having the pressure of the second place driver on your back bumper. And, of course, a mistake was just made there. The 24 going to lose the lead, and Matt Lacrosse going to go to the point. We talked about first-time winners in this series for this season off the top of the show. Could Matt Lacrosse fill that bill?
I think he could as Brundage moves up to third. He goes around the 43 of Justin Wilson, subbing for Doug Ross. But I'll tell you what, Stefan Marinak, he might be the fastest car on the racetrack right now, or close. Either way, he's driving this thing on the limits every lap, and that's why you see him making those mistakes. He's overdriving the car almost, I think, and that's why he's kind of messing up, maybe knocking the car out of line, nearly getting the wall, getting into the wall, getting the apron, one of the two. You'll see him do that every once in a while, and that's because he's driving the car so hard. There's, just some points where he can't, his 21 gets sideways off the corner. Some points where he's just kind of messing up a little bit driving it so hard.
And there's a point to overdriving that race car and then making a mistake, and especially at a racetrack like Darlington, it's so easy to cross that line. It's so easy to overdrive as the 24 is right up on the back bumper of the number 21. If you're the 24, you're right up there. How far do I drive it into the corner? If the 21 is there, I've got to back up the corner a little bit to not hit the number 21. I've got a lapped car coming up about a half straightaway in front of us here in the 26 of Gonzalez. Do I use him as a pick? Do I try to get past the leader? It all flows into here now. 24's got to be thinking, hey, I've got to get that most laps led award to get that extra bonus point. There's so many things I'm sure going through the head of the number 24 right now as they've got the 26 in front of them.
Well, even right now, if Marinak leads the most laps, what he's got to be careful of is even if he finishes second, he won't have. He might have the points lead, but it'll be tied. His caution flies at Darlington, and I'm looking for the caution, and it appears to be the 65 car. And I want to say it's Josh Cheney with 7th position, lap 115, going into the backstretch off of turn number 2. He just, 69 comes, just gets a little low there and comes down. 65 has nowhere to go really because they're side by side. And that will put the 65 around. 65 kind of slides, locks up the brakes but slides. He'll be all right though. Doesn't look like he makes a whole lot of contact. Doesn't get the wall again. Gets the car stopped almost and keeps going. He's all right.
Matt Lacrosse going to lead our field down onto pit road as Marinak, Brundage, Wilson, and Monahan are your top 5. And it looks like they are going to bring down the field. And Evan, what could be the final pit stop here?
And that's right, only 34 laps to go after our longest green flag run of the night. And one car that is moving, that number 94 of Eric Brundage, who maybe necessarily, this is going to help him. He was gaining on the leaders as they were switching side by side, but it is going to be Matt Lacrosse leading them down pit road into his pit stall, followed by Stefan Marinak and Eric Brundage, the top 3. So that top 3 class of the field, and 21 Matt Lacrosse sliding through his stall is going to back it up a little bit sideways now, puts the right side tires on it, and he is now significantly behind on pit stops of the number 24 car. It's going to be a race off pit road. The 24 is going to lead him out.
11.7 on the 24, and he is going to win the race off pit road. And with that overshoot, Dakota, it's not as bad for the number 21. He's going to fall back to third, but he had a drag race with Justin Wilson. He could have easily been in position number 4. If Clint Monahan was on his game, he easily could have been in 5th.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the 21, man, such a, valiant effort, and that's twice, though, tonight. He's missed his pit stall and lost a little bit of time there. Here's the thing though, Eric Brundys, he's been caught, or people have been saying, he's been changing lanes in a restart for the last 2 or 3 restarts now. Now he's going to be on the outside lane, and he's going to have a whole lot of clean air in front of him. He's going to be scored second, I do believe, so long as Douglas Wyatt pits after staying on. He goes down pit road. So, Brundys is going to have the preferred lane, so I don't think we'll see him changing lanes before the start-finish line or anything like that. He's actually going to be up here in the hunt with the race leaders of Marinac and, Lacrosse.
And here's the point I tried to make on the last restart, but I kind of ran out of time and kind of had to rush through it. The pace car here at this racetrack peels off in the middle of the corner. If you're new to this iRacing simulation, once that pace car peels off, you can go, and the sim will not black flag you as long as the pace car is off the racetrack. Or, leader's prerogative, you can wait until that green flag flies. So there's a little bit of a box per se, an imaginary box between when the sim triggers the green flag and when the pace car goes off. The pace car goes off essentially the same time every time. Green flag comes out usually around the same time every time. Obviously, it could differ a little bit, but there's a huge box. You go from the middle of 3 and 4 essentially to the start finish line. What I'm trying to get at here is the leader can go wherever he wants to. That leaves second place to either fend for himself or he's got somebody to the inside of him. If this 24 car Marinac goes and Brundys is all alone on the outside and he kind of anticipates the start but not as much as the 24 because the leader's going to get out there, that leaves that door open for the lead or for the lane change. And with so long to keep up in that lane, it favors Matt Lacrosse because Matt Lacrosse is going to have from the middle of 3 and 4, essentially, whenever that number 24 goes, to the start-finish line to fill that hole on the inside of the 94. So could the 94 here, Dakota, really be at a disadvantage?
He could be. Honestly, he could be. It's all about being on your game, though, and the thing is, the 24 has to get up, get his lane, and make sure that he gets that arc into turn number 1. That's going to be the biggest deal. Restart-wise for the race leader, 94, I think if he goes, he's all right. But 24, I'm really concerned about him. He can't change lanes before the start-finish line. He can't change lanes too early, and he can't enter too low. If he enters low into turn number 1, he's going to lose a lot of time. Maybe put the car in the wall as pace car's off, and we're green flag racing once again, as Lacrosse is going to be able to get around the 94.
And Lacrosse gets by the 24, now can change lanes. He goes up a little bit and gets the arc into the corner. The 24, Marinac, great start for the 21, but he's up in the fence. 94 to the inside, 43, oh boy, he's gonna save it. One car of Monahan into the fence. Is he gonna keep it straight? 50's gonna be there. I do not know how that's a wreck. They're still trying to make it happen though. One car into the 15, and that will bring out the caution flag. I thought they were gonna somehow get through that.
I don't know that the caution's out yet. They're still wrecking. They're still green, but they're still wrecking back there.
The one of Monahan is trying to cause a caution here, though. He's parked in the middle of the racetrack and falling back onto the apron. I don't think we are under caution as Marinac is still under power in 3 and 4.
Caution flag is now out. 30 laps remaining.
Laura's going to queue up the replay here, and we're going to watch the number 1 car, and it's not a happy 1 car, Dakota, as it's, I know in a short track world, when we have a driver that's trying to, and it looks like here, and I'm speculating, but you see that 1 car on the apron, he gets hit by the 15, and once he gets hit by the 15, he kind of spins the car out all by himself. Obviously, the toe is knocked out on that race car, but he has an opportunity to come onto pit road. 26 car runs into him, so he gets the caution flag that he wants, but he could have pulled it onto pit road there, got close to that apron, and not brought her back up onto the racetrack and into the oncoming traffic.
He could have, but I think, at that point, I think he was so upset. I don't think he cared what exactly happened, whether he was penalized for the wreck. I think he just wanted a caution. And I don't know that we might not see a little bit of retaliation. I mean, what started that? You got to look at the 21 of Matt Lacrosse on the outside wall in the turns number 1 and 2. I mean, he got sideways and shoved the car to the outside wall. Big check up, ended up in the 1 car. wrecking. It's going to be on what the one sees on that when he goes looks at the replay. It's going to be on what he sees as to who he's angry at, what he's angry at, and whether we'll see retaliation, tonight or maybe even next week.
Yeah, there was a lot going on that restart. When you see the 24 and the 94 and the 21 making that pass there, the 43 checking up a little bit. Somehow, through all of this, John Abbott is in position number 5 as he gains a couple of spots on that restart. But yeah, you're definitely right. I'm sure he's going to go back and look at the replay. He's definitely upset right now by the way he was driving that car to bring out that caution flag. And to complete my point, usually I know on the series that I call on a weekly basis, if you stop on the racetrack to bring out a caution flag, it all depends. 1 lap penalty, 5 lap penalty. NASCAR's done it before as well. So I'm sure the officials are looking at that, but Monahan now going to come on to pit road, and I'm sure the crew is looking at that replay and trying to figure out what happened there on the restart. But Dakota, there was a lot that happened there.
That there was, and the guy that had the bird's eye view, the guy that got into the wall in the turns 1 and 2, being side by side almost with the 94 of Eric Brundage, that was Matt Lacrosse. So I do believe we have him on the radio. Matt, this is Dakota Ehrman for ETV Live up in the broadcast booth, joined by Tim Terry. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Man, you got a pretty solid run going. I mean, you took the lead before that caution flew, and you kind of sitting in third. You put in the wall there, but looks like you might be all right. You're still sitting in third, and less than 30 to go here.
Yeah, that last deal I drove in a little too hard, and in turns 1 and 2 here, if you get close to the wall, it kind of sucks you right in. So I was just trying to keep it up there. That way I didn't run down into anybody. And sorry to Justin and Clint. They got caught up in that. But I try not to run over anybody, and I try to drive clean, and that was just my bad. I didn't check up in time. So other than that, yeah, me and Stefan, Eric's up here now, great. Yeah, we're having fun out here. Me and Stefan are talking to each other on the radio. And we're just trying to bring her home.
Are you guys timing this restart so you can come home 1-2 here, or you guys leaving Brunnies in the dust as you work with you on these restarts? Not quite.
Well, I mean, we're trying to time the restarts, but Eric's Eric, and he's gonna find a way around eventually. So I don't know if we're gonna do it this time. The car's got a little bit of damage. It's got a little bit of toe knocked out of it, so I didn't want to pit there and lose all that track position, but I should be fine.
I finally, man, here's your last chance here to answer a question for me here. Can you win this race still?
Definitely.
All right, you go do that, man.
All right, thanks, man.
That was Matt Lacrosse in the 21 car.
And that's confidence, Dakota. Can I win this race? Definitely. I've got a little bit of damage, but I can definitely do this thing. And he's going to start once again on the inside line. He's going to have Marinak in front of him. He's going to have Brundage on the outside of him. Lacrosse is going to try to do the exact same thing he did on that last restart and pick up second. But he's going to have to try to hold off the rest of the field, something he couldn't do once he got to corner numbers 1 and 2. The First Racing Ford Mustang pace car is off the racetrack. Field in command of Marinak. Getting ready to see the green. Marinak is gone as the pace car is coming back out again. So that was close.
And yeah, it was just as you were saying that. I heard in my ear that the caution was delayed for, I don't know why. I just know that the caution was delayed. And I'm looking here, we're all double. Who was it? Well, I heard that once again. Evan Pasoko knows what's going on. Evan?
The number 1 of Clint Monahan over the radio, the RSR officials telling him that he was too slow on the restart. He was, however, letting cars by him as he was given an EOL penalty, so that triggered the lights to come back on, so we're going to go around and pace again.
And that was Monahan who was involved in the last caution. Actually will bring out the caution in his one machine, so obviously not very happy there.
And we'll get the restart here with 24 laps remaining as we'll complete 1:26 here. The Stefan Marinak machine is leading with Brundage in second. Lacrosse, Wilson, Abbott top 5. Bo McGuire is going to try to salvage something, try to get back up into that top 5. He runs in 6. Harvey, Wolf Jr., Campbell, Fleming top 10. We'll see if the pace car can get off the racetrack this time. Pace car into the infield. Marinak is your leader. He's gone, and look at Lacrosse. Green flag flies, and Lacrosse is there as well. Guys, don't change your lanes. Make sure you stay in the same lane. Start-finish line's right there. Looks like your top 3 are good.
I would say they timed that, and it ended up leaving Brundys in the dust, and that's what they did. As the 21 gets close to the wall again, but he's all right this time. Toe knocked out, but he doesn't care.
Yeah, he's going to drive that thing for all it's worth in these remaining 23 laps or so, this time by 21. Closing in on the 24, and the 94 is there as well. You'd have to believe that the 94, if he can get to the number 21, and the 24 up there, might be trying to try something here. 21 to the inside now, the number 24 going in to corner number 1. 24 in the fence, 21 to the lead, and here comes the 94 on the inside of Marinak, your 2-point leaders once again side by side.
I think Brundys was in the wall 90% of that turns 1 and 2 there. It couldn't really, or it wasn't Brundys, Marinak was in the wall there. He couldn't quite get out as here in the 69 is supposed to be black flagged. Augusto Gabaldoni, he'll be black flagged here as he'll be forced to come down pit road. But I'll tell you what, how about Justin Wilson? He's sitting in 4th, and he's right up here, right on the bumper of Marinak.
I don't think the 43 is done yet. Justin Wilson knows how to get these races done at the late stages. Former NASCAR Racing 2003 driver. He knows how to get these shows done and finish them up strong, as he's got the 10 of Abbott to the back bumper as well. Keep a half eye on the lead. Brundys is all over Lacrosse. Brundys wants to go back to the lead position after the black flag at the start of the evening. He paced practice. He paced qualifying, won the pole, and now he's trying to win this race. But standing in between him and the checkered flag is that number 21.
I'll tell you what, that 21 got the wall actually in 3 and 4 last time around. Not quite this time. Gets close. 24 might have got the wall, but 21 not getting the wall this time. He's got to be smooth and consistent, but he is the leader right now. That's the advantage he has with just about 20 laps remaining, exactly 20 laps remaining here at Darlington.
Looks like Clint Monahan has called it a night. He is done for the evening, and a tough way to finish his race in car number 1. 94 is there on the number 21. Just behind them, it looks like Abbott in the 10. Wilson in the 43 are side by side. Wilson going to give up the position to Abbott as the position number 4 has changed. 94, though, trying to change the lead on the 21. Looking down low, they got a lap car, the number 26 up there as well. That battle for 4th getting close again. Oh, boy.
And we're going to be side by side coming up on Jose Gonzalez. It looks like Wilson clears Abbott. Abbott coming back. He's coming back on the bumper of the 43 in a hurry. He's going to have to stay in line here. Maybe going to dive down inside. Going to be squeezed down by the 43. Super close. And they're almost going to make contact. They might make contact. Nope. Abbott holds it down.
What a move by that 43, though, to get past that number 10 with the lapped car there of Gonzalez. Now the 10 almost up into the 43 as he went into the corner. It closed in Harvey. It closed in McGuire. 4-car battle for position at number 4. And it looks like Doug Fleming also involved in this as well, as Fleming goes underneath Bo McGuire for position number 7.
I'll tell you what, Abbott, he's running the very bottom lane to 3 and 4. That's a unique line. You might see it, used to pass somebody every once in a while, but it's really rare, and he's making it work down there. He's actually running a pretty decent amount of lap times down there. As up front still, though, Matt Lacrosse is being really challenged by Eric Brundys, but he's still holding on to the lead.
And with less than 20 laps to go, if you have anything left in the tank, you really got to show it right now, as we're going to come up this time by on 16 to go. 21 may have scraped the wall going into corner number 3 that time by, but I believe the 94 was close to it as well. No change in the time in your top 2. Looks like Brundys barely beat Lacrosse on the lap time on the stopwatch that last time by, but it's just barely. These guys are skating around these race cars right now in these corners. 94 is up there on the number 21. He pokes the nose to the inside. Can he make the move? No, he cannot going into corner number 3. Try to pick up something here off corner number 4, but I don't think he's going to get there. And these guys just skating these race cars around these corners. It's close quarters for some of these drivers, especially coming up off these corners.
I'll tell you what, Bobby Terrell was black flagged after the restart for changing lanes, and he's not very happy in his 7 machine.
And he's likely going to finish. He's going to finish somewhere inside the top 20, but it's likely going to be 18th or 19th place for that number 7. After coming off the Talladega win last week, 3 wins on the season, he's not going to get number 4 here this evening. 14 laps to go for the 21 of Matt Lacrosse, Brundys, Marinak, Wilson, who has the windshield full, of the number 67 because he runs in 5th right now. John Abbott, the 10, just made the move on the 43.
Yeah, Abbott's clear and he's gone. 4/10 of a second really quickly there as here comes Harvey. He's coming in a hurry. He's the guy we tried to talk to a few cautions ago, but we couldn't get contact with him until the right before the restart. 67 gets right to the bumper. The 43 has to lift maybe a little bit. He's going to lose a lot of time coming off the corner. Here comes the 28, Doug Fleming. Fleming now to the inside of the 67 on Harvey, and he's going to clear Harvey and move up into the 6th position, or 7th, yeah, 6th position.
Pretty solid run for Fleming. He's been up in the top 10, but really hasn't shown a top 5 car here this evening. He's about 3 car lengths between himself and a top 5 run here, and he's got 12 laps to make it happen this time by. He throws it into corner number 3, and that thing stuck in the middle of the corner. What a run by that number 28.
He's making it work, and he's coming up on the 43 really, really quickly here. He's going to be to the bumper. You see him, he took a different approach than the 43 did to 1 and 2, so 43 might have a better line through 1 and 2, at least getting into the corner. You see him making up a little bit of time coming out, but not a whole lot. He's making up more time throughout the back straightaway, but into turn number 3, that's where you see him. Last time he made up a lot of time, he does it again. He really making up a whole lot of time on entry, and he's actually going to make up quite a bit of time on exit, so he's going to be right on the bumper of the 43 once again. Now heading into turn number 1, he dives down, he's going to be the inside of the 43, going to be side by side heading into turn number 1, almost contact. He has to lift, maybe get on the brakes a little bit. He's alright though, in his 28 machine.
He's going to have some time to reset and try to get a spot, but we talked about it earlier in this race. If you get side by side with somebody and start playing that position game, it's going to close in the guys behind you, and look at the guys that are behind him right now. You got Bo McGuire, Wyatt Wolf Jr., you got the 50 or 67, check that, Brian Harvey, you've got Glenn Campbell back there. If you're Doug Fleming, you want to pick off this position and ride, because you don't want to get those guys behind you all close to your rear bumper.
Remember, Bo McGuire was running around 4th before he got sideways on the apron. He ended up saving it, but he fell back to about 10th position, so he's currently running in 8th. He hasn't really been able to get back up through the field, but he does have a fast car if he can, navigate traffic correctly, as he does have the 63 of White Wolf Jr. all over his bumper. Meanwhile, up front, just want to update you on the row as the 28 actually dives underneath the 43 here once again in turns 1 and 2. See the 43 using the very outside lane as 28 pushes up. He's going to lift just a little bit, but he's going to stay right on the bumper of the 43. They almost make contact. Almost make contact. As there goes somebody in front of them, a lap car now shoots down the apron. But wanted to update you about 4/10 of a second, almost 5/10. Matt Lacrosse has over Eric Brundy's. Those two kind of been going back and forth lap time wise, but Marinac falls back from 7/10 to a second behind the race leader.
Just mentioned it, if these guys get side by side for position number 5, it's going to close in the rest of the field. 67 and 50 are now there. The 43 takes the spot back, and now the 28 has to play a little bit of defense. He's got that 67 and 50 there. He's going to drive away from them off corner number 2. Down the back straightaway they go. It looks like the 28, a little bit of a faster car, but trying to get past a driver, especially here at Darlington with the close quarter racing groove that we have here, is a whole different ballgame. 43 going to throw a half block on the number 28 going down the straightaway. The 28 trying to get there, not going to get there, going to lose a whole lot of time, and here comes the 67 of Brian Harvey. It looks like the momentum that he had was lost with a little bit of a block down the straightaway.
7 laps remaining, only 6 to go with the start finish line. As here comes the leader in the wall, I'm hearing. He lost a lot of time to Brundy's now. Here comes Brundy's coming to the bumper of the 21. 21's going to have a lot of company going into turn number 1. They're going to be side by side, not quite. 21 throws it in deep, uses the outside lane to his advantage. So long as he hits his line here, he might be all right. But he definitely got the wall. I think you could tell as he lost that 3 to 5/10 of a second lead that he had, as he now tries to run away once again with just about 5 laps to go at the start finish line.
Yeah, Brundy's closed in to about 0.3 of a second. He gained a lot of time 3 laps ago, and then 2 laps ago the 21 is in the fence, and there goes the advantage that he had. The 21 car, Matt Lacrosse, really has to run some clean laps now. The 94 Brundy's just behind him and pouring the pressure on. Brundy's wants to gain some points, so does Matt Lacrosse. We talked about it earlier in the race.
Caution.
Matt Lacrosse caution flag will fly, and this might be the end. I'm not sure if we're going to have a 1-lap dash or not, but if we do not, Matt Lacrosse may have just won this race. And we mentioned it off the top of the show when everybody else is having problems, Dakota. Matt Lacrosse was the biggest one to possibly gain some positions in the standings. Your top two in points now are running behind him, so that gain that he was going to get might not be as big.
And that wreck actually starts with those guys we were talking about. 67, Brian Harvey is going to be actually the cause of the wreck. Bo McGuire comes up the track after getting on the apron. 63 on his bumper. Big pile up of cars right here as the 67 goes into turns number 1 and 2. He comes down into the 63 just a little bit. They make contact and kind of collect everybody behind them. But that was the 67. Brian Harvey was 8th position at the time. And this is going to be interesting. I don't know if we'll go back green flag racing or not, but this is definitely a turn of events here.
I believe not this time by, but next time by, they'll have to have the 2 to go. So we'll have to see if they do end up getting the 2 to go next time by, as Gabaldoni is going to be the free pass recipient. He will be back 1 lap behind the pace in position number 16. 15 drivers on the lead lap right now, and looks like 4 or 5 others still on the racetrack trying to salvage what they can from this race. Matt Lacrosse trying to lock up his first win of the season, and even if we do get a 1-lap restart, Dakota, as long as he is decent on the restart, we've seen it before, he can get a good enough jump. He can't change lanes before the start-finish line, which is going to help him a little bit because he's going to have that big lead. If we do get a 1-lap restart, Matt Lacrosse is looking pretty good.
I would say he is. He's looking really, really, really good. And honestly, I'm kind of wondering whether this thing is going to go green flag racing or not. It really is a call here.
And what about the run for Brundys? We documented throughout the race that he was on the penalty list. He didn't deserve the penalty. He gets the wave around, and now he's back up in position number 2. Through everything that happened this evening, Dakota, won practice, won the pole, and now he's going to be up in position number 2. Are we going to go back green here?
Well, I can tell you what. First off, I wouldn't have to go talk to drivers if I'd pay attention here. The pace car lights are not off. They would have to be double file right now for us to go green for a 1-lap shootout next time. So pace car lights obviously on. We're obviously not going back green, and that was actually delivered to me actually by one of the drivers on the racetrack. I believe Douglas Wyatt. Yeah, we're staying caution. The race is over. Matt Lacrosse is going to victory lane here.
As long as he can keep the fenders or nothing happens to that race car in the next lap and a half or so. John Abbott going to finish in 4th. And how about Justin Wilson? Solid driver, comes in for Doug Roth. He's going to finish in 5th. And looking ahead in the point standings, he's likely going to pass Clinton Monahan. Rhett McBride is going to finish in the number 15 car back in 17th position. He might not pass him, but he's going to gain some points on Rhett McBride, and Jose Gonzalez didn't have a great run either. So it looks like that number 43 car has a lot to gain here this evening, Dakota, with Justin Wilson at the wheel for Doug Roth. He's going to finish in position number 5. White flag is out here.
How about Doug Fleming running 6th? Bo McGuire 7th. Brian Harvey 8th. How about Nathan Bowers? He's up here in 9th. He started 17th. I don't think we mentioned him a whole lot. And Terry Lane, 98, subbing for Steve Harry. He comes home in the 10th position. 2 subs in the top 10 for their drivers. And just fantastic, runs for a lot of these guys. Really.
Completing your top 15, and these are the drivers that finished on the lead lap. Unofficially, of course, they still have 1 lap to go, but we're going to throw Terry Lane, or we're going to throw Glenn Campbell in the mix there in 11th place. Terry did finish in the top 10, as Dakota did mention. Wyatt Wolf finishes in 12th, albeit these guys do have to come by this next lap and take the checkers. Douglas Wyatt in 13th. Wyatt Wolf Jr. 14th. John Wilco finishes in 15th unofficially right now. And then you have Gabaldoni in position number 16, the first driver, 1 lap down. We're going to let these drivers finish this half lap, and then we're going to talk to an excited Matt Lacrosse, I'm sure, Dakota, but you have to feel for him. First win of the season. He's going to be the 6th different winner in this series, and he's going to come across and possibly gain some points here. He might very well be 4th place in the standings before this night is over here as he gets ready to take the checker.
And I'll tell you what, man, remember we were talking about him just laps ago, getting the wall, making a mistake. He had the toe knocked out. We talked to him in car during a caution, had the toe knocked out. And he still comes across ready. And when we asked him if he can win this, he says I can, and then he goes out and does it. And he just crossed the start-finish line. He's won. He's officially the winner here, just like he said he would, just like I told him to. Tim Terry, Matt Lacrosse is our winner.
He didn't say I can. He said definitely. Matt Lacrosse, your winner. Congratulations. Talk about that restart.
Oh man, I have no idea. Me and Stefan were talking. I didn't originally plan on jumping with him, but he's like, man, come on. He was trying to keep Eric as back far as he could. And so I went with it, and I had a huge runoff of, I believe it was 2. And I had to take it, and that caution might have saved me. Because, Eric was coming. He was moving.
We talked off the top of the show. You've had a lot of strong runs this season. It just seems like luck has come in the way, hasn't been able to close the deal. Your first win this season, it comes at one of the toughest tracks on the schedule. This really has to be rewarding, especially at Darlington, to pick up your first win of the season.
Actually, Darlington's one of my favorite tracks. I usually run very, very well here, but usually what happens is something happens, I make a mistake, I screw up somehow, and I end up doing it to myself usually. So I kind of did it to myself earlier, but I'm going to have Dakota ask me before every race if he thinks I can win, and I'm just going to say definitely.
It seems like that's the way to do it. You're going to move up probably at least to 4th, possibly 3rd, going to be close to 3rd place in the point standings. It's race number 11 of 36. Don't hit the wall. That's going to be a rear clip on that race car. We don't need it anyway for next week. But let's look at points. Are you thinking points here at this point in the season?
In all honesty, I'm not even running for points. There's going to be probably a 5-race stretch where I'm going to miss. I got a lot of things going on here in the August-September time frame that I'm going to miss a lot of races. So, it's fun to be up in the points and talk about the points, and I wish I didn't have to do what I have to do, but I really don't have any choice. So I'm just going to do what I can to stay as high in the points as I can and take that.
Next week, 4th short track of the season at Iowa. Can we get another win there?
I'm decent at Iowa. It depends. I need a lot of things to play out my favor. It's not one of my favorite tracks, but we'll do the best we can.
That's not definitely.
That's definitely not a definitely answer there.
Yeah, well, I definitely don't want to lie either.
I guess we'll hold you to that. Sponsors on the car. I know you got a couple of teammates that help you work on this car each week. Who makes it happen?
I want to thank Hippie's Paint Shop. He does a great job painting these cars. I want to thank Quick Car Racing Products. You guys up in the booth, you guys do an outstanding job, best broadcasters on the internet. And I also want to thank RSR. They have a great league here. I plan to race here for as long as they let me.
That's Matt Lacrosse, your winner, first win of the season. And Dakota, I believe Eric Brundys has finished in position number 2. Let's see if he can't catch up with that 94 car.
Yeah, when you say I believe Eric Brundys has finished in position number 2, you literally say I believe, because it is an unbelievable thing. Eric Brundys was actually penalized early on in the race for supposedly changing lanes before the start-finish line. It was felt to be a wrongful penalty. He was given his lap back, but he had to run through the field, a lot of cars to pass, and he did it. He actually ended up second, was challenging for the lead at the end of the race. Eric Brundys, what a race for you, what a run.
Yeah, it's probably the worst second place I've ever gotten. We felt like we were in our own zip code today, but I'm usually pretty lenient. When someone messes up, that's fine, but when the same admin messes up twice, and it cost us a win today. And back at Kentucky, did the same thing with a different call with the lucky dog, and cost us about 20-25 points at least. So it's just really disappointing, and I just got to rethink if this is where I want to be, if this league's where I want to be, and stuff like that. And when you got guys gaining up on you in restarts, and also admins gaining up on you, it's kind of hard to win races.
Well, it might have been hard to win races, but you came so close. You have, I believe, I want to say you have at least three wins. Let me look at the stat once again. But I was thinking you have. Yeah, one win, but you have probably one of the most top 5 runs, 7 top 5s so far this season, the most out of any driver in the points. I mean, you beat Stefan Marinak by 2 and Bobby Terrell by 2. You really are consistent here.
Yeah, we have that going for us. I think this is like the 5th or 6th second place finish for us. But, it's frustrating because, we can easily have 4 wins, by now. But, yeah, it's frustrating for us. And I don't know really what else to say.
All right, Brundy, so I'll give you a chance to throw out any shout-outs you may have here.
I just want to thank the Inside Sim Racing and iLeagueRace.com and RSR, although not really tonight. And then I'll see you guys up there at ETV. You guys put on a great show, so thanks.
All right, well, thank you, Eric Brundies, and good luck next week. Hopefully we have you back. Going to go ahead and now go to Evan Pasoko, who is standing by with our third place finisher, and an upset for him, I would say.
And that's right down here on pit road with the number 24 of Stefan Marinak. And you were second in practice, third in qualifying. You ended up third in the race. How was that run for you? You guys seemed like you were up there all race long and at the front.
Yeah, it was a good run for us. This is one of my least favorite tracks, and I didn't expect to do good here. So third place is good. Congrats to my teammate Matt Lacrosse for winning the race. But yeah, that's what we needed. I think we tied Eric for points because we finished a spot behind him, but we led the most laps. So it's keeping us up there in the points too.
And led the most laps indeed, and from behind the driver's seat. This was almost a wild card race like we normally suspect the super speedways. Lots of shuffling in the standings. What was the driving like from behind the wheel?
Yeah, it was very hard for me to keep focused the whole race. It's a hard track to drive. You have to dime in the first corner and then stay right up beside the wall in 3 and 4. So you really got to focus. But it's a hard track. I can't believe we led all those laps, but we'll take it.
And a fast race car indeed all day long for the 24. Any shout out you want to throw out?
Yeah, I want to thank the Hunter.com for being on the car, teammates at Fearless Racing, HibbySpaintShop.com, and Inside Sim Racing for sponsoring this series.
So that's number 24 car, Stefan Marinak, finishing top 3 at Darlington.
And a great show put on by these drivers at Darlington. You had 9 lead changes here this evening. Had a few cautions as well. Had 9 cautions, but exciting. It seemed like when somebody was out front, something would happen with Eric going that lap down, and then you had some guys. CJ Lavere had tough luck this evening. Clint Monahan had his issues. Dave Lanzo was strong. But in the end, it comes out with Matt Lacrosse as the 6th different winner this season for the RSR Asphalt Assault Series, presented by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs. If you're looking for button boxes and accessories, Derek Spear Designs definitely the place to go. That's going to do it for us here on ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network. So for JD, Laura, Dakota, Evan, my name is Tim Terry, saying that we will see you next time when we say let's go racing here next week from Iowa for the Asphalt Assault Series. Keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.